Hello and welcome to episode 124 of the Implant Games podcast. I'm your host, Kris. With me, my co-host, Matthew Schultz. Matthew, how are you?
I'm doing better than I sound. How are you?
Good. I was a little nervous. I opened Skype about 15 minutes ago and it had an update, and that's terrifying. Back in the old days of the podcast, so probably like 2011, 2012, the Skype would give me issues almost every single episode. It was a giant pain. But there hasn't been an update on Skype for Mac since you and I started doing this, and it's been pretty good. So I was a little nervous when it started updating. I'm like, oh, please work, please work.
Yeah. I remember distinctly when Microsoft first took over Skype, there were a few updates where it was a little concerning, the direction things were headed, but I think they finally got a handle on it.
Yeah, like even, just like everything, like I'm later in the show, I need to send you a link to another video to watch during the show, and it just took me 45 seconds to figure out how to open a chat window with you. I've always hated Skype in that way. I find it very, very difficult to use.
Yeah, it's sort of the polar opposite of a lot of texting apps where they throw in voice as an afterthought, and it feels like with Skype, the chat is absolutely an afterthought.
You're very right. Yeah, definitely. Alrighty, so this is a good show. This is like a really good outline.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Good. So, what have you been up to these past 2 weeks?
Well, I've been in perpetual recovery. I keep thinking the light is around the corner and it never comes. I've been sick for almost 2 weeks. I never get sick like this, but when I do get sick, man, does it hit me. And then my little one, she has a ear infection, which is really common with little babies. So that's happening as well. And then my wife got sick. She gave it to me. Don't know where it came from or anything like that. So I've been dealing with that this whole time. Just constant sleep. And then whenever, because, it's self-employed. So whenever I'm not sleeping, I have to be working. And so it's just, it's been an intense 2 weeks. It literally feels like we had the podcast 3 days ago.
It always does. Every time it's like, man, it's Monday already?
Yeah.
Damn.
But beyond that, I've decided that I have to put away the PS4 because it's just taking up too much of my gaming time.
The notes say packing up PS4, and I didn't know if that meant like literally, like I'm going to put it in a box, or if that meant like I'm done and it's time to sell.
No, it's literally I've got to put it away. Part of it is just these big AAA games. I put in the notes, big empty games. They're, these open world games and all these open world elements they're putting into games. It's nothing that a lot of times it doesn't feel like you're accomplishing anything. It's just like a supermarket checklist in gaming form, and you're just going out and checking all the items off on the list. And I want to just go back to what makes me happy as far as, feeling accomplished and challenged. And a lot of that's older games, retro games as they call. And honestly, the form of that has shown up a lot more in indie games now.
I was just going to say, indie games are not afraid to make a 2-hour or a 3-hour game.
Yeah, exactly. So
they don't feel any pressure to make sure that, they get a 9 out of 10 because they have 45 hours of gameplay.
Yeah. So that's, in my gaming space, that's really what's been going on.
So does that mean you're keeping the original games, original hardware, the Framemeister, the whole nine?
I think so, because I just I can't. I've got to be able to play comfortably on a new television set, and so the Framemeister is just a good buddy when it comes to that stuff.
It's a nice friend.
Yeah.
It's a nice friend to have.
Exactly.
Nice.
Well, what about you?
I've been meaning to do this for a while, and that is move on from the Wii U. So the Wii U was my next-gen console of choice, and then obviously it flamed out pretty fast. Actually, before the show, I looked at how many Wii U games I bought over the last 3 years, and The answer is 6. And I love all 6 of those games, but that's all I ever bought. So I finally decided to move on, and I decided to get an Xbox One.
Nice. Did you go with the Slim, or what model did you end up with?
I believe all they sell now is the S's. Well, I think the X came out today, but yeah, I'm not buying that. No, I bought the very basic, the Xbox One S 500 gigabytes for $249.99. I bought it at Best Buy for a couple of reasons, but it was annoying. They only had like the Madden bundle on the shelf, but I could see next to it there was like a Forza. I'm very unfamiliar with the series now. I think it was a Forza Motorsport Horizon 3 with Hot Wheels add-on bundle. But it wasn't on the shelf, so I called the Best Buy guy over there. I'm like, dude, I'm not buying Madden. You gotta have one of these. And he's like, no. And then he like pointed up to like the wall where I guess I didn't notice where they store everything. And I'm like, no, it's right there. He's like, no, that's a 1 gigabyte. So I made him go up there, and I was right, of course. So I got it. And I didn't realize it, but at Best Buy, either last week or right now, if you buy an Xbox One, you get a free game.
Oh, wow.
And I think you can also get like extra controller. Instead of $60, it's only $40. And then also the male listeners probably have no idea what this is, but your girlfriends and wives do. And that's an app called Ibotta, which is like a digital coupon app. Your wife uses it, doesn't she?
She's got my email account signed up for it as well as hers.
And when we bought it, they had 3% cash back on any Best Buy purchase.
Oh, nice.
So that kind of made Best Buy the no-brainer. So I bought an Xbox One, Sonic Forces, and Cuphead for like $283 with tax.
Oh, nice. The physical of Cuphead?
Well, it's a digital, but you could buy the case, and yeah.
Well, you know what's great about, and this is where Microsoft is really, they have to be competitive against the Sony. Cuphead's one of those games. If you buy it digitally, you can play on your PC if you have one, as well as the Xbox. So it's one of those.
You get that cross play or whatever they call it.
Yeah, and that's really, really awesome in a nice competitive move.
It was weird seeing Cuphead on the shelf, knowing that there was basically nothing in the case. And in fact, if I had been paying more attention, I would have realized the code was not in the case. The code gets printed on your receipt.
Oh, wow.
So I broke the seal, and there's like a little Cuphead trinket in there. And then I'm like, there's no code on here. Oh, the 25-digit code is printed on my receipt. Yeah. And then I felt old. Like, how did I not know this? But no, so I bought an Xbox One, Sonic Forces, and Cuphead. I should have been playing Sonic Advance 3 this weekend, but I got distracted with this, of course. So I know you've played Cuphead, gave your thoughts on a previous episode. So I played it for a couple, like probably 2 hours. I didn't get that far, obviously. I got to I think it's like a flower or a sunflower boss. Mm-hmm. And kind of got stuck and had to move on with my day. But of what I have played so far, it is pretty, it's kind of amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the animation and presentation and all that is really outstanding. What I find that, I was telling you we should probably kind of postpone any deep dive into Cuphead if I think we can both beat it and then really kind of talk about it. But there is some weird, and when you look into the development, you realize why it is the way it is. But there's some odd choices with, I guess you could call it pacing in my mind, where you go to this overworld map, and then one level is a boss, boom. And then the other one's like level progression, and it kind of Mega Man-ish or something along those lines. And so it's just weird. To me, that's the weirdest part about it. I
honestly did have a moment where I'm like, how do I get to the next level?
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be difficult, but I did find it weird how, even just, okay, I have to find the thing on the map that's off-colored, and then, oh, this is a shooter level, oh, this is a run and gun level, oh, this is a boss. Yeah, it's a little off. I'm not sure how I feel about it. The run and gun... I mean, the game is actually simple. Like, you could do this on the Genesis without all of the cool graphics, and that's what I really dug about it. the controls, compared to Sonic Forces, which I'll get to, the controls are just so good.
Yeah.
The jumping, the moving, the shooting in 8 directions. The Xbox One has a ridiculously good D-pad, which I wasn't expecting, and it played really well. It reminded me of Gunstar Heroes in terms of responsiveness, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if that's where the inspiration came from. The only thing that hasn't become second nature for me, and I'm sure it will, I thought it would be the dashing, like jumping and then dashing over a pit. Mm-hmm. That came pretty natural, felt nice. Maybe landing could be a little strange. I'm not sure. I haven't played it enough. This is just a first impression. But you hold the right bumper, and then that kind of locks your character into place.
Yeah.
And then you can shoot in all 8 directions. And that's where I really struggled with the sunflower boss. It was really hard to wrap my brain around, okay, now I want to run and shoot. Okay, now I need to stop and shoot. And that has been the biggest learning curve so far. So I'm curious if that will become second nature or if it's just a mechanic that doesn't work with me.
Well, I think the problem with the mechanic is the button layouts. And I hit on this when I talked about it. I actually remapped the buttons because I found that because of the parry and what you're talking about, where you lock into place and then you can shoot in all directions, that the default button layout seemed wrong for the way that my hands needed to be in order to comfortably attempt those things, and the rhythm and everything that you develop. And so if I recall correctly, I think, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I feel like I did make the auto fire one of the triggers, and the bumpers I moved their settings and everything like that. So that I could more comfortably jump and parry and do the dash, so that because it felt like, honestly, that the obstacle that I think a lot of people have to overcome with this game is the button layouts, not so much the difficulty of remembering patterns and everything that's a staple of 8 and 16-bit games. There's a ghost in the room right now. I'm totally hallucinating, but no. But overall, I mean, it's a fantastically presented game, and it really does. It's funny you mentioned the exact same game too. It really does hit that Sega Genesis classic that is
Gunstar Heroes.
Yeah. It really does. It, for some reason, it hits that tone. It's not exactly the same. I mean, I feel like Gunstar is a little more loose with it feels a little faster the way you would control the character and whatnot. But it really does. It does hit on that a lot for some reason.
So yeah, I probably won't beat it until January. At least that's my current plan. So my plan is to get through Sonic Advance 3 in 2 weeks, then get through Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis on the Game Boy Advance in 2 weeks. And then after that, I think I'll tackle Sonic Forces to get that nice December YouTube revenue. And then from there, move on to some of the more obscure stuff that might not do as well.
Nice.
So yeah, right now I'm kind of playing the YouTube game for better or for worse. But yeah, I'm definitely want to beat it and say I beat it and do a really good, in-depth review of the game. And I really hope I like it. I hope it doesn't, the second half just becomes BS and it's impossible for all the wrong reasons. So I'm curious. Yeah. I assume you haven't beaten it either.
No, I haven't. And my experience has been different because I've been playing with my wife, which I think in some ways makes the game a little bit easier. Because you don't
2 players.
Yeah, you don't share a life pool, and you can grab your partner if they die. You can parry off them and revive them. So there's a little bit of a rebound and recovery that's involved with it that isn't present in single player. And there's two levels of difficulties that you can go through, and to get the true ending of the game, you've got to do the higher one. So it's going to be a tough battle, I think.
Yeah, especially on single player, but I'm ready. I've played, not maybe lately, but I've beaten a lot of challenging games over this year, so I feel up for the challenge.
Yeah, you're tempered steel.
This weapon will kill. Have you watched that?
No, I have no idea.
Forged in Fire. It's on the History Channel, and it's on Tuesdays at 8 Central, and I have zero interest in like steel smithing or whatever, but this show is so freaking good. It's like Chopped, except for they make knives and swords, and I just can't get enough of it. It's so good.
That's awesome. I love Chopped. So that's an excellent recipe to be a little punny.
Well, what's nice about Chopped is that you can just watch one episode, and it's a self-contained thing that doesn't require you watch what comes before it or after it.
Yeah.
And I really like shows like that. So like Chopped or Forged in Fire is the same way. Like you don't have to watch a later or an earlier video. You can just watch a 1 hour episode, and it has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it's really, really interesting.
Yeah, and it's all, competitive spirit and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. There's like a bit, what's funny? Way off topic. There's almost, and I think it's the same thing with Chopped. What I really enjoy about him, because I'm not a huge reality TV junkie, but like Chopped really doesn't have any drama. Like there's not like, person A and person B don't like each other and they're going to gang up on person C, and like all of that nonsense that, so-and-so isn't sleeping with, the other person, and just all of that kind of garbage that kind of took over reality TV. So like when you watch Chopped, there's like, they're all kind of cheer each other on and help each other. And like in Forged in Fire, it's mostly men, and there's like a brotherhood. And, when there's females, it's all, everybody's happy for each other. Everybody helps each other. Like, no, you're doing it wrong, or what have you.
It's not uncommon in Chopped to see someone cut themselves and somebody else help kind of pick up the slack for them a little bit in some way.
Or give them their ingredient that they had extra of, or, just that kind of stuff. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. All I can think of is brotherhood. So I'll go with it.